Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, CFL week number 10. Week 9. 1-3. Straight up picks. 1-3 against the spread. 2-2 on the over-under. Year to date, 16-18 in win-loss. Against the spread and over-under, 14-20 on both. Not been a good year. But like I said, starting week 2, expect the unexpected. We've had some good games. We've had some okay games. This week we have a unique situation. We have a total of 5 games. We have a game on Wednesday between Ottawa and Toronto. On Monday, Ottawa plays Montreal and Toronto plays Hamilton. They have to double up due to, I believe it's because of missing the game because of COVID. And then Edmonton has to do the same thing in week 16. So, like we normally do, we try to go over some of the stats for the year. There's 4 quarterbacks that have started all of their team games so far in 2021. Zach Collars of Winnipeg. He's 168 for 232 with 4 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, 2,148 yards, 72.4% completion ratio, and efficiency of 111.1. He is my quarterback that I picked for my fantasy league this week. I'm in the official Lank Schooner League. I'm currently 21st. There are 82 members total in that league, 50 with points. Only 50 have really kind of done anything with their team. And then 40 people have 500 or more points. So with that, I am, like I said, 21st overall. So it's not horrible, not great. I've had a couple good weeks. Typically, I'm kind of right in the middle because it's like Fantasy Kings. It's salary based. You got to pick your team based on your salary cap and stuff. So it's fun, but it's also stressful trying to get the best players you can to fit within your little salary cap. The next QB on the list is from BC, Michael Reilly. He's 165 for 226, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, 2,047 passing yards. He hasn't been my quarterback for the last few weeks, but with BC having their bye week, head goes Zach Collars this week. And then Cody Fajardo, there's Saskatchewan, 179, 257, 7 touchdowns, 8 interception, 1,900 yards, but he's actually a good rushing quarterback, so that helps with fantasy, but he's very expensive. And then Vernon Adams out of Montreal, he is 130 for 218, 8 interceptions, 13 touchdowns, only a 59.6% completion ratio. On the rushing side, some of the leaders for Montreal, we have William Stanback, 109 for 677, 2 touchdowns with an average of 6.2. Edmonton's James Wilder, 103 for 588, 2 touchdowns, average of 5.7. William Powell out of Saskatchewan, 110 for 514, 2 touchdowns. And then 4th on the list from Calgary is Kadeem Carey, 86 for 443 and 4 touchdowns, averaging 5.2 yards carry. He's actually my running back for this week as well. And I picked up also Hamilton's Ellerton Thomas as my second running back. Receiving with Saskatchewan's Kyran Moore, 51 for 434, with 2 touchdowns. Winnipeg's Kenny Lawler, was Winnipeg's Kenny Lawler, 45 for 703 and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, he's suspended for this week, and I think he's suspended indefinitely for his legal troubles. Kamar Jordan out of Calgary, 39 for 539, 3 touches. And then BC has 2 on the list. Brian Burham, 38 for 566. And then Lucky Whitehead, 36 for 665. These guys are really expensive on the daily fantasy. I went with Winnipeg's Nick Dembski, which actually looks really smart right now. And then Edmonton's Trevon Smith. And then my flex, I'm using Johnny Augusta. I'm using Montreal's defense for my fantasy. So we'll see how well that was. When it comes to team stats, Saskatchewan, 595 plays, 159 points, averaging 74 plays a game. Winnipeg, 558 plays, 178 points, averaging 69.8 points a game, or plays a game, And then Hamilton, 554 total plays, averaging 69.2 a game. And Calgary, 161 points, 550 plays, averaging 68.8 plays per game. So we have the 5 games on this week's schedule. Game 1 is Ottawa, who's 2-5, versus the 4-3 Toronto Argonauts. Again, this is Wednesday, so this game is tomorrow night. Both of these teams, again, play on Monday. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough week, especially that second game. And then Ottawa's got it even worse. They play again next week. So they have 3 games in 10 days. 2 against Montreal and then 1 against Toronto. Toronto, yeah, they got to play 2 games this week, but they're off next week. Ottawa's defense this year has given up. As of recently, they gave it 24 points in the last 2 games, 45 to BC and 51 to Montreal, while Toronto's defense have given up 30 points each of the last 2 games. So Ottawa's got a really tough stretch. 3 games in 10 days, 2 against Montreal. The line on this game is Toronto by 7.5. I am taking Toronto to win. I'm covering at 7.5, and then I'm taking over on the 45.5. Next up, we have the 2-5 Edmonton Elks versus the 7-1 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Edmonton ends their season this year with 3 games in 6 days, so they're even worse than Ottawa. But that's toward the end of the season. They got 11-13 against Saskatchewan, 11-16 against Toronto, 11-19 against BC. So Edmonton's already not having a good year at 2-5. It's going to get worse next month. They've given up 20 points for 4 straight games. Winnipeg has won 5 straight. Winnipeg is actually favored by 2 touchdowns, 14 points in this one. Or 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points. That's a big number. But Winnipeg is playing so well. Winnipeg winning, covering, and under on the 42.5. Next up, we have the 3-5 Calgary Stampeders versus the 5-3 Saskatchewan Roughriders. This is a rematch from Week 9, where Calgary won at home, 23-17. They also have a 3rd game in Week 12. So Calgary won the first game at home. Saskatchewan's down home. I did pick Saskatchewan to win last week, and obviously one of my losses. Saskatchewan is favored by 2.5. I'm taking the home team here. They're going to cover the 2.5 and over on the 43.5. The Ottawa Red Blacks. I'm guessing they're going to be 2-6 at this point. They could be 3-5. You never know. Going up against the Montreal Alouettes, who are 3-4. They also have a rematch, like I said earlier, in Week 11 in 5 days from this game. Ottawa, as of writing this, obviously, has lost 5 of the last 6. More than likely, it's going to be 6-7. The last time these 2 teams played was in Week 6. Montreal won 51-29. Montreal is favored by 6.5. I think this game is going to be ugly. I got Montreal winning, covering the 6.5, and taking over on the 50.5. Ottawa's defense is going to be just wore out. And then the last game of the week, we have the Toronto Argonauts, who, like I said, probably be 5-3 if they beat Ottawa in Week 1, the first game. Going up against the 4-4 Hamilton Tiger Cats. These 2 teams play again in Week 15. They've already had 2 games this year. Week 5, Hamilton won 32-19. Week 6, Toronto won 17-16. Here they are in Hamilton. So far this year, Toronto has won every other game. Hamilton has lost 2, won 2, and then every other since, except their loss in Week 9. So they're due to win this one. Hamilton's favored by 4.5. Again, I think Toronto's going to be tired after that game on Wednesday. I got Hamilton winning, covering the 4.5, and we're going to say under on the 42.5. All right, so that is Week 10 of the CFL. I forgot to write down under on the 42.5 for Hamilton against Toronto. So that's going to wrap up Week 10. Make sure you stay tuned to Robert Sports Show for Week 6 of this college football season, Week 5 of the NFL, and then if you're a NASCAR fan, the Xfinity Series preview for the Roval and for Xfinity and Cup We're going over what happened at Talladega with Bubba Wallace getting his first career win, the Michael Jordan-owned team, Cohen team, and then Brandon Brown his first Xfinity win on Saturday, and then Tate Fogarty his first truck win on Saturday. Cover all that in the 2 NASCAR videos. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports show content.